The NFL isn't just a physical test of wills. Having a psychological edge over your opponent is just as important when the competition level is so close. What makes football so great is that there's just as much verbal action in between snaps as there is physical action. We're talking trash talk. Trash talkers make the game more fun. They're fun to love and fun to hate. But not all trash talkers are created equal. Today, we rank the top 10 trash talkers in NFL history. Warren Sapp. Legendary Buccaneers defensive tackle Warren Sapp has awoken many quarterbacks up during the night, drowning in pools of nightmare sweats. Green Bay legend Brett Favre called him the king of trash talk, and even a little bit crazy. Sapp was unblockable, and his mouth was incessant. Like many players on the list, Sapp garnered respect from most colleagues and distaste from most others. Mike Sherman, former Packers head coach, got into a verbal spat at midfield with Warren Sapp following a questionable hit. Sapp yelled at the coach to put a jersey on if he wanted to talk so tough, bothering Sherman so much that they had to be separated. Sapp was fined several games by the NFL for notoriously skipping through the opposing team's warm-ups pre-game in an attempt to pester opponents. Warren Sapp was the self-proclaimed QB killer, and his stats backed it up. 96 sacks in 13 seasons from an interior rusher is unheard of. Terrell Suggs. Longtime revered pass rusher for the Baltimore Ravens, Suggs has never been afraid to sack the quarterback and dig on everybody. Tom Brady found himself a recipient of Suggs' ruthless trash talk multiple times. After a loss to the Patriots, Suggs claimed that the Pats didn't want to see them again, and he hoped they were going to enjoy the Pro Bowl because they'd beat him in the playoffs. But Brady isn't the only quarterback that Suggs despises. Steelers quarterback Ben Roethlisberger has been sacked by Terrell Suggs more than any other player in his career. Suggs even once broke Roethlisberger's nose in the middle of a game. When asked to comment, Suggs called it awesome. The future Hall of Famer claims he went to Ball So Hard University, and his play backs it up. Late into his career, Suggs continues to ball, seemingly getting more sacks and under more people's skin. It seems his diploma and his game ages like fine wine. John Randle. Considered a wild man, John Randle became a master at mind games. Not only did he talk trash, he prepared to trash talk like he would an opponent's scouting report. He would ask media relations departments obscure details about his opponents to use as ammunition. He once lined up against Rams lineman John Gurak and told him that he had a picture of Gurak's wife Kim in his back pocket. The ultimate underdog, John Randle used preparation and a chip on his shoulder to motivate his play and his trash talk. It's likely that his incoherent and relentless yelling put fear into opponents just as much as his sophisticated barbs did. Hall of Famer Dan Dierdorf referred to his style of play as controlled insanity. It was effective. Not only did he complete the impossible, going from undrafted to undisputed all-timer, he did it his way. Randle captured the adoration of fans for his fiery antics and words, and garnered the respect of every opponent he faced. Terrell Owens. This list is filled with prima donna wide receivers that also double as great trash talkers. Terrell Owens might eclipse any of them in both of those discussions. We've seen Terrell Owens bask in the Dallas Cowboys star and dance in almost every other team's end zone. One of the most decorated receivers in history, T.O. dominated in a 49ers, Eagles, and Cowboys jersey. Owens was a sponge for controversy and flamboyant end zone celebrations. He even developed a catchphrase that would soon become synonymous with his play: "Get your popcorn ready." T.O. was one of the best shows on turf, whether his team was good or not. In an infamous interview from his house, Terrell Owens shredded his own quarterback Donovan McNabb. Nobody was off limits for T.O., even the guy throwing him the ball. Owens knew two things: nobody could cover him, and that he loved me some me. His fiery passion led him to flame out with multiple teams, even though he had unprecedented success everywhere he went. Even in retirement, he's brought forth controversy on whether he deserved to be in the Hall of Fame or not. Simply put, Terrell Owens is one of the kings of trash talking and controversy. Shannon Sharpe. Much of the younger generation knows him as the over-the-top brash-talking co-host across Skip Bayless. But in the 90s, Shannon Sharpe brought that personality to the Denver Broncos. Sharpe proclaimed that he mastered the art of making people upset. He said, "I know what to say to get anybody." In a game against the Chiefs, Shannon Sharpe caused Hall of Fame defender Derek Thomas to melt down on live TV, garnering multiple personal foul penalties. Sharpe got so far under Thomas's skin that he had to make a statement following being suspended for his actions. Sharpe possessed the gift of gab, the ability to keep fans on the edge of their seats and opponents' composure in his hands. Sharpe once made a fake phone call on the sidelines to the president, requesting the National Guard to help the New England Patriots they were trouncing on at the time. Shannon Sharpe finished his career a 3-time Super Bowl champion, the all-time tight end receiving leader, and with a place in everybody's hearts for his antics. Deion Sanders. Playing cornerback in the NFL is a test in mental fortitude, unlike anything else in sports. Completely on an island, and every mistake magnified tenfold. It takes a sort of arrogance and swagger to play corner, a personality that can rub people the wrong way. Nobody has personified how an NFL corner should look quite like Deion Primetime Sanders. Physically gifted beyond his peers, Sanders oozed cockiness, wearing gold chains, designer clothes, and telling you how you'd never catch a ball on him. He even appeared in rap videos and showed off his lavish lifestyle created by his ability on the gridiron. Primetime's larger-than-life persona intimidated opposing receivers, with a nickname that backed up his high-profile play. Deion was so much better than his peers that he had time to perfect his trash-talking while still shutting down opponents with ease. So confident during the NFL Combine process, he ran the 40-yard dash and went home. He made his point. In a pre-draft interview with the Giants, they plopped an oversized notebook in front of Deion. This book was a test given to all their players, to which Prime replied, "What pick did you guys have?" They said 10th. Deion said, "I'll be gone before then. I ain't got time for this." And he got up and left. Deion told everybody how good he was, as a defender, returner, and receiver. He was a one of one, and he wasn't afraid to let you know. Richard Sherman. The Legion of Boom is considered one of the greatest defenses in NFL history. From 2012 to 2015, the Seattle Seahawks allowed the fewest points in the NFL 4 years in a row. The only team to accomplish this since the NFL merger. Consisting of multiple Hall of Famers, the Legion of Boom was led by Richard Sherman. The Stanford standout had the ability to shut down half the field, then eloquently tell you he was doing so. With the Seahawks, Sherman was never shy to go at the biggest and best players in the league. Against the New England Patriots, Sherman was in Tom Brady's ear every television timeout, inciting him to throw it his way. A fiery competitor himself, Brady told Sherman to come talk to them after they lose. After Seattle pulled out a fourth-quarter victory over the Pats, Sherman immediately found Brady post-game to confront him. He continued to barrage him while Brady ran off, refusing to respond to Sherman's, "You mad, bro?" Sherman uses the media to belittle his opponents better than anybody else. During the 2013 playoffs, the Seahawks faced rival San Francisco 49ers for a chance to play in the Super Bowl. Sherman dominated 49ers star receiver Michael Crabtree. He broke up a pass headed for the end zone in Crabtree's direction to seal the win and a Super Bowl berth. Being asked about the play in a post-game interview, Sherman reiterated to everybody in the world, "What happens when you try me with a sorry receiver like Crabtree? That's the result you're gonna get. Don't talk about the best, or I'm gonna shut it for you real quick." In the internet age, this post-game moment cemented Sherman as a trash-talking legend. Chad Johnson. When someone brings up trash-talking, one of the first names that comes to mind is Chad Ocho Cinco Johnson. This is a man that legally changed his last name to his number to psychologically mess with corners. Johnson's mouth overshadowed the fact that he was one of the best route runners in NFL history. The Cincinnati Bengals' all-time receiving leader regularly lined up and gave tips to his opponent. He would even call out his route before he ran it, then proceeded to beat the defender with it. The story that exemplifies Chad Johnson as a trash talker is simply referred to as the Pepto game. During the week, Johnson decided to send every member of the Browns' defensive secondary a bottle of the popular stomach reliever, Pepto-Bismol. Johnson was implying that he was going to make them sick from the long day they had ahead. Trash talking is in Chad Johnson's DNA. While it's up in the air if he'll ever make the NFL Hall of Fame, He's a first-ballot trash-talking Hall of Famer for sure. Phillip Rivers. The longtime passing savant of the Los Angeles Chargers, Phillip Rivers, is known around the league as one of the most fiery quarterbacks. But his trash-talking is distinctly different than everyone else on this list because he keeps it clean. In 2019, near the end of his time with the LA Chargers, Rivers and his teammates were trouncing a mediocre Jacksonville Jaguars team. Up 24-3 in the middle of the third quarter, Rivers threw a screen pass no less than 2 yards down the field to Austin Eckler. Eckler proceeded to take the screen 84 yards for the touchdown. Running down the field, Rivers went on to work on Jacksonville Jaguars defensive end Yannick Ngakoue, whose words, "Get out of my ear, bro," were drowned out by Rivers yelling 90-yard touchdown over and over. Rivers reiterated that he can get excited all he wants as Yannick whined to the ref about Rivers' trash-talking. Rivers' G-rated rants are notorious around the league. Chief safety Tyrann Mathieu calls Rivers the league's funniest trash talker. The fact that he's probably the only trash talker on this list that is liberated of censors puts him in rare air. And finally, number 1, Steve Smith. Saying someone has little man syndrome is usually degrading. But in a league full of towering titans, 5'9" Steve Smith's chip on his shoulder fuels the trash talk that comes out of his mouth. You should put together highlight reels of Steve Smith mic'd up. In one of the best Thursday Night Football League games to date, the Carolina Panthers defeated the New England Patriots, and it created one of the most iconic trash-talking moments of all time. Steve Smith and Aqib Talib were at the top of their games and battled throughout, including multiple post-snap scuffles. Unfortunately, we were cut short of that title bout when Talib went down with a hip injury late in the game. Never shy to kick someone when they're down, Smith was asked about Talib in a post-game interview and said, "Ask him. One of us ended the game, one didn't. Ice up, son." Smith's passion and trash talk made him one of the most loved athletes of the 2000s. Nothing was off limits for the unfiltered speedster, who once made fun of Janoris Jenkins' marital life and used time in the end zone to make fun of the scandal Fred Smoot was involved in. Between his post-game interviews and end zone celebrations, Steve Smith cemented himself as a trash-talking legend. Thanks for watching. What's your best trash-talking line? Let me know in the comments down below. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe. I'll see you next time.